My name is Daniel, and I want to tell you about what happened to me on New Year's Eve. I used to think New Year's Eve was all about noise. You know, fireworks exploding, music blasting from every corner, people shouting and laughing in the streets. But the last New Year's Eve I worked was quiet. Far too quiet, and I was completely, utterly alone. I was working as a night guard in a small, unremarkable office building. It wasn't anything important. No big secrets or valuable assets inside. Just a few floors of offices, computers, and empty desks. On December 31st, like you'd expect, everyone left early. I remember watching them go, buzzing with excitement for their parties. Some people even hugged each other goodbye, like they weren't going to see each other again for a long time. By 7 in the evening, the entire building was empty, just me. I started my usual routine, checking every single floor. Lights off, doors locked, windows shut and secured. Everything was perfectly normal. I made my way back down to the front desk in the main lobby, poured myself a cup of coffee, and pulled out my phone, ready to just wait out the clock until midnight so I could finally go home. Outside, the city was already alive with celebration. I could hear the faint, distant thumping of music, the occasional honk of a car, and the murmur of voices carrying on the wind. But inside, it was a different world. The only sound was the relentless, monotonous ticking of the large clock on the wall above the reception desk. Tick, 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 tick. Each second felt like it was being stretched out, pulling time along with it. It was around 9:30 p.m. when things started to get strange. My radio, sitting silently on the desk beside me, crackled to life all by itself. At first, it was just static, that familiar hiss and pop. I didn't think much of it. The building's radio system was old, and the signal wasn't always the best. But then, a voice cut through the noise, clear as day. Daniel, I froze, solid. My heart jumped into my throat. Only my supervisor, Mark, knew my name and would use the radio to contact me. But I knew for a fact he was at home with his family. I'd spoken to him just a few hours earlier. Hesitantly, I picked up the radio's handset, my palm suddenly sweaty. "Hello," I said, my voice a little shakier than I would have liked. The only reply was another burst of static, and then silence. I tried to rationalize it. It had to be nothing. Maybe someone else was testing the frequency, or it was just a random signal crossing over. A simple mistake. Still, a sense of unease settled over me. Out of habit, I opened the logbook and wrote it down. 9:32 p.m. Static, on radio, possible voice. It was just procedure, but writing it down somehow made it feel more real. The quiet returned, but it felt heavier now, more watchful. At 10:15 p.m., another sound broke the silence. The low hum of the elevator motor. I looked up at the indicator panel above the elevator doors. I hadn't called it. The screen showed it was coming down from the 5th floor. It descended slowly, agonizingly so. Floor by floor. 5, 4, 3. I stood up, my eyes fixed on the gleaming metal doors, my hand resting on the heavy-duty flashlight on my belt. When the doors finally slid open with a soft chime, the elevator was completely empty. No one there. I listened for footsteps, for any sound of movement from the floors above. Nothing. Just an empty metal box and the open space inside. My unease was quickly turning into genuine fear. I went over to my console to check the security cameras. On the playback screen, I saw the elevator making its descent just moments earlier, exactly as I'd witnessed. But then I saw something else. On the live feed for the 5th floor, in the corner of the screen, one of the office lights was on. This was impossible. I was absolutely certain I had turned off every single light. I'd walked that floor myself. It was part of my checklist. There was no way I could have missed one. With a deep breath, I grabbed my flashlight, its beam cutting a sharp cone of light in the dim lobby, and headed for the stairs. I wasn't taking that elevator. The 5th floor felt different at night than it did during the day. The air was colder up here, still and stagnant. The thick carpet absorbed the sound of my footsteps, making my movements feel unnervingly silent. I walked slowly down the long corridor, checking each office door as I passed. All dark, all empty, all exactly as I had left them. All dark, all empty, all exactly as I had left them. All except for the very last one at the end of the hall. The door was slightly ajar. A sliver of warm light spilled out into the hallway. I stood at the doorway, my heart pounding against my ribs. "Hello," I called out, my voice sounding small in the vast emptiness. "Is anyone in here?" No answer. Just silence. I pushed the door open and stepped inside. The room was mostly empty. The desk was completely clean. No computer monitor, no keyboard, no stacks of papers. Just a single desk lamp, which was switched on, and a calendar hanging on the wall. My eyes were drawn to it. The date, December 31st, was circled in bold red ink, and underneath the circle, someone had written a short, chilling message in neat block letters. "Stay until the end." Just as I read those words, my phone vibrated in my pocket. I pulled it out. A text message from an unknown number. All it said was, "You're doing great, Daniel." I felt my chest tighten, a cold dread washing over me. I hadn't told anyone I was here tonight, except for my supervisor. How could anyone know my name and that I was on this floor, in this specific office? I didn't reply. I just reached over, switched off the lamp, and quickly left the office, pulling the door shut behind me. I hurried back down to the front desk, my mind racing. The first thing I did was go to the control panel and lock the elevator. No more unexpected trips. At 11:30 p.m., the radio on my desk crackled to life again. This time, the voice was perfectly clear. No static at all. "This is your last shift," it said. The tone wasn't threatening. It sounded strangely calm, almost kind, which was somehow even more terrifying. That was it. I was done. Midnight wasn't worth this. I grabbed my jacket and my keys. I decided right then and there I was, leaving early. I strode over to the main glass doors, the exit to the street, to freedom. I pushed the bar. It didn't budge. I tried again, putting my shoulder into it. Nothing. The magnetic lock was engaged. It wouldn't open. I looked up at the clock on the wall. The long hand was ticking closer and closer to the top. It read 11:59. 1 minute to midnight. Suddenly, the lights in the lobby began to flicker, casting long, dancing shadows across the floor. My phone vibrated again. I looked at the screen with trembling hands. A new message from the same unknown number. Almost time. Then, the radio crackled one more time. The voice was insistent now. "Don't leave before midnight." I backed away from the door, my eyes darting between the locked exit, the silent radio, and the ticking clock. The seconds counted down. 10, 9, 8. The final tick of the second hand seemed to echo in the silent lobby. The clock's display changed. Las 12, alto, M. At that exact moment, the night outside exploded. Fireworks lit up the sky, their bright colors flashing brilliantly through the glass doors. I could hear the muffled sounds of cheers, of music, of a city celebrating a new year. And inside the building, everything went completely, profoundly silent. The flickering lights stopped. The building's low hum ceased. Then, the radio spoke one last time, the voice now soft, almost a whisper. "Thank you for staying." With a soft click, the lock on the main doors disengaged. I didn't hesitate. I ran. I pushed through the doors and out into the street, into the noise, into the jubilant crowd. I didn't dare look back. The following week, I quit that job. I couldn't bring myself to step foot in that building again. Later, out of morbid curiosity, I asked a former coworker to check something for me. I found out something strange. According to the company's official security logs, I was marked as present and on duty until 12:30 a.m. that night, but I know I ran out of there at midnight on the dot. And the logbook entry I'd made earlier that night, the one about the radio, it wasn't in my handwriting.
My name is Lucas, and this is what happened during our New Year's family dinner. In my family, New Year's Eve is sacred. Same house, same food, same people. Every year, no excuses. If you miss it, you hear about it for months. That year was no different. My aunt's house was already full when I arrived. Music was playing, glasses clinking, someone was arguing about politics in the kitchen, and kids were running through the living room. Everything felt normal. Loud, familiar, too familiar. As soon as I stepped inside, my aunt hugged me and said, "You're late. We were waiting for you." I checked my phone. I was 10 minutes early. I laughed it off and went to the table. Plates were already set, more plates than usual. I counted them. 1, 2, 3, 1 extra. I asked my cousin Mateo, who's the extra plate for. He looked at me like I was joking. "What do you mean?" he said. "It's always like this." I didn't answer. We sat down to eat around 10:30 p.m. My grandmother said a few words, like she always did. She thanked everyone for being together another year. Her voice shook when she said it. Halfway through dinner, my uncle raised his glass and said, "To those who are still with us." Everyone repeated it. I felt uncomfortable, but no one else reacted. I told myself I was just over. Then I noticed the empty chair right next to me. The plate was full, food untouched, the glass filled, like someone was about to sit down. I leaned toward my sister and whispered, "Did someone not make it yet?" She frowned. "Everyone's here." "Then who's that seat for?" She looked at the chair then back at me. "Lucas," she said slowly, "don't start this tonight." I dropped it. Around 11:15 p.m. the power went out. The music stopped, the lights died, someone cursed. Phones lit up the room with pale, ghostly lights. My aunt said it was normal. Too many fireworks, too much electricity. Candles came out. That's when I heard it. A chair moving, not loud, just a soft scrape against the floor. The empty chair next to me had moved back slightly. Primera staré dat italiano, no one else did. I said nothing. Conversation continued, but it felt forced now. People kept repeating stories. Desame ones, word for word. Light recordings. I checked that time. 11:32. My phone buzzed. A message from my mother. She was sitting across from me. The message said, "Don't leave early this year." I looked up. She was smiling, talking to my aunt. She hadn't touched her phone. I typed back, "Did you just text me?" She didn't read it. At 11:45, my grandmother stood up. "It's time," she said. "For what?" someone asked. She looked confused. "You know, before midnight, everyone stood except me." They formed a small circle around the table. One space was left open at the empty chair. My aunt looked at me and said, "Lucas, come on." I shook my head. "What is this?" Nobody answered. My grandmother spoke again. Her voice was calm. "We do this every year," she said. "We remember." "Remember who Primera asked it?" She looked at the empty chair. The candles flickered. For a moment, I smelled something strange. Old perfume. Familiar. I felt dizzy. Images flashed in my head. Hospital lights. Rain. A phone call I didn't want to answer. I stepped back. "That's not funny," I said. "Stop." My sister started crying. "We told you not to start," she whispered. I looked at her. "Start what?" She looked scared now. "Really? It's got it? You weren't supposed to remember yet." The clock in the living room ticked loudly. 11:59. My aunt reached for my arm. "You have to stay until the end," she said. "Please." I pulled away. "No," I said. "I'm leaving." The front door wouldn't open. Midnight hit. Fireworks exploded outside. Cheers, laughter, a new year. Inside, everyone went quiet. The empty chair scraped forward. I felt something brush past me. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. "Thank you for coming back." Lucas screamed. The lights came back on. Everyone blinked. Confused. Normal again. My aunt laughed. "Wow, that blackout was weird, right?" The chair was empty. Just a chair. No extra plate. No extra glass. I didn't say a word. I grabbed my jacket and left. No one stopped me. The next day, my mother called. She asked if I was okay. She said I had missed last year's dinner. I asked why. She was quiet for a long time, then sighed, because you were in the accident. I hung up. Sometimes, right before midnight, my phone vibrates. I never checked the message.